Okay, so I got her here at the lake. Turn her fuel on. A couple shots of gas. Let's see if she starts. Just run around, get her warmed up a bit. It's actually started out pretty high, but it's back down a little bit more normal now, but I still got to adjust that. So I'm just going to get the engine warmed up. Okay, so I got the engine just warm. There's another couple things. You're going to want a full fuel tank when you're doing this. You're going to want to rely on a digital tachometer, not on your standard one. If you have the digital one from Sea-Doo, that one will work. The oil adjustment there, I've done the preliminary adjustment on, where the hash marks line up right now. Now I'm gonna try and set this idle speed. So we're gonna use the idle speed screw and then the low speed screws there to set that. So you basically just wanna get a good smooth idle. This was going a little fast, so I'm gonna turn these out just slightly, and just you do very small adjustments when you're gonna be doing this. So now, because I have to turn this guy out counterclockwise to lower the mixture, or lower the idle speed, the low speed screws are going to have to be turned in, because by doing this, that's going to richen the mixture. So what we're going to do is actually lean the mixture out by adjusting those guys. So you just got to play with that back and forth until you find a good idle around 1500 in the water. So I made a very slight adjustment there, about 1/8 of a turn on both. Just see where we're at. So the other thing we're looking for with this, it's not only 1500, but when we hit the throttle, it responds quickly. So as you can see, it didn't respond very well there. Kind of boggy. So I may need to actually just lean it out a bit to see if that takes care of that. Okay, so I got the idle set pretty well right around 1500. It might be just slightly high. So I'm just gonna show you the throttle response you should kind of expect. When you're doing these adjustments between them, give the motor a little bit to adjust to it. If you punch it, you got a smooth idle, you're right at 1500, you punch it right away and it kind of hesitates or bogs. Just do that a couple times, because it just sometimes takes a sec for the motor to get used to the new adjustment. So once you get it to the point where you got a nice smooth idle, good takeoff, I'm gonna go and just do the final cable adjustments. So we're just gonna double check our oil adjustment, and then we're gonna adjust the adjuster that's up under this compartment here to get our high speed done. And then we can go and just kind of finish the tuning, check our low speed Popoff and high speed jet, and then we're gonna do our high speed adjuster. So the next thing here, once you got all that sorted out, we're gonna just take a mirror, stick it down here, make sure on our oil pump, our two hash marks are lining up. And then as long as that's good, we're properly adjusted with this guy right here. If not, just make that adjustment so those two line up. And when you do that, you also wanna make sure you take any slack out of the throttle cable. So oil's adjusted now. Now I want to go ahead and adjust this guy up here. That's going to adjust the throttle. We want to make sure it hits the bars, and when it hits the bars, it's fully opened. So the way we're going to adjust this is just rotate the black adjuster up. So now in performing that adjustment, you want to make sure that you don't over adjust it, because what will happen then is it'll change your idle, because it'll pull the throttle plate open even when at rest. So if your idle speed does go up, you've gone too far. So now to confirm you've got the right pop-off pressure and low speed jet, what we're gonna do is hold the throttle at about 1/4, and then we're gonna just go wide open with it. And then we're just gonna see how the engine responds. If it's lean or rich, you know, you'll have a hesitation, or it will load up with fuel, then clear out, then accelerate. So that's what we're gonna check now. So as you can see there, throttle response was really crisp, and no hesitation, no loading up. So we got good pop-off pressure, good low-speed jet. What we can do now is check our high-speed jet. Same thing, just you're gonna hold it for about 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute at 3/4 throttle, and then go wide open and see how it goes. All right, so we're looking good there as well. You can do that a couple times if you want to just be sure, but that looks good. So next thing we got to do is tune our high-speed circuit and see if we're too rich, too lean. The way we're going to do that is just keep an eye on the tach and see what kind of RPMs we're pulling. So you're going to want to hold it wide open, and then just, you know, do a plug chop, pull your throttle cable, or your kill switch, sorry, while your throttle cable is wide open, and just hold it wide open as you're pulling to get a good reading, and then you're gonna have to read the plugs. Okay, so I saw 6750 as my max RPM. Now in doing this, your plugs should not be so hot that you can't touch them. That would indicate a problem. It's a pretty nice tan color in that one. So these plugs are gapped at 22, BR8ES, and they're the solid tipped ones. These are fairly new plugs. So I'm going to do this just a couple more times. I'm going to ride around a bit just to get a little bit more color on these things and kind of see how it goes from there. They're not looking too bad right now. Okay, so I just adjusted the high speed screws. Just took them in a little bit to lean out the mixture, just to see what that's going to do for us. So we're going to just keep an eye on the tach and see what RPMs we're going to get this time. So I got 6750 this time. Plugs still look decent, so I'm just gonna try and back it off a little bit more. So I got it dialed just about where I'm happy with it now. I think 67.5 is my max RPM. Keep in mind it's stock head. 1520 Concorde prop is in this thing. It does have an R&D Intake Grate and Ride Plate as well. A couple other reasons we're probably not getting, you know, max RPM out of this thing. That's how I've modded it, so still pretty happy with it. I'm gonna check my top speed and see what we get on the GoPro here once I get it back. It's basically the adjustments you need to do on these things to get them running once you get these mods on them. I have my low speeds. I'll check my low speeds and put them up on the screen. I can't remember where I had those set. And my high speeds I just set to just under a quarter turn out. I probably have a little bit more room to go, but I just kind of want to be cautious right now with this and just ride it around a bit and then fine tune it later. hopefully you guys can mod up your XP Limited 951s or GSX Limiteds or anything else with the 951 motor with the help of this video. Take a look at the other stuff on the channel too. Got a lot of stuff for this boat particularly, but a lot on 951s as well. Gonna have a few more videos coming up soon too, so take a look at those.